Imagine you've hit rock bottom. You're living out of your car, no money, no home, and a past that follows you everywhere. Then, out of nowhere, an opportunity arises. A live-in job with a wealthy family. It seems like a miracle, a fresh start. But what if that perfect home, behind its polished doors and picture-perfect smiles, is hiding something sinister? What if your lifeline is actually a trap? This is the story of Millie Calloway, a woman who walked into a world far more twisted than she could ever imagine. Millie's life was in pieces. Fresh out of prison, she had lost everything. Her car was her home, and every night was a battle with despair. So when she heard about a job opening with the Winchester family, she grabbed it like it was the last life raft in a storm. Arriving at their grand estate, Millie was greeted by Nina Winchester, a woman who radiated charm and warmth. Her husband, Andrew, seemed kind and considerate, the type of man you'd instantly trust. Their daughter, Cecilia, however, was a different story, her tantrums filling the house with a constant simmering tension. Millie's new room was a small attic space, but there was a catch. It locked from the outside. The door was covered in deep scratches, as if someone had clawed at it, desperate to escape. A shiver went down Millie's spine, but she pushed the feeling down. She had no other choice. She had to make this work. At first, life with the Winchesters was manageable. Millie cleaned, cooked, and followed every rule, quietly slotting into her new routine. But soon, the cracks began to show. Nina's moods would swing wildly. A minor mistake would trigger a volcanic eruption of rage. She'd smash things, blame Millie for impossible accidents, and her demands became increasingly bizarre. Millie soon learned that Nina had a troubled past, including a stay at a psychiatric hospital and a history of alarming behavior towards her own daughter. The luxurious home that once felt like a sanctuary now felt like a prison. Even the family landscaper, Enzo, noticed something was wrong. He'd give Millie quiet warnings, telling her that things in this house were not what they seemed. But with nowhere else to go, Millie felt trapped, forced to play by the rules of a game she didn't understand. As the days turned into weeks, the tension thickened. Every conversation with Nina felt like walking through a minefield, and Andrew's attention, which was once a source of comfort, started to feel complicated. Millie could sense the hidden currents of hostility and manipulation flowing through the house, but she couldn't quite put her finger on where they were coming from. Amidst all the chaos, Millie found an unexpected comfort in Andrew. He began confiding in her, telling her about the struggles in his marriage. He painted a picture of a life lived in fear, controlled by Nina's unpredictable behavior. Lonely and vulnerable, Millie's judgment started to blur. Before she knew it, their relationship crossed a line. The affair began, and with it, Millie felt a surge of power she hadn't experienced in years. She felt seen, desired, and in control. At the same time, Nina's behavior grew even more volatile. Her punishments became harsher, her cruelty more calculated. The Winchester house was a pressure cooker, just waiting to explode. Then, one day, it happened. Andrew took decisive action. He had Nina removed from the house, seemingly freeing both himself and Millie from her tyranny. A wave of relief washed over Millie. It was finally over, but her relief was tragically short-lived. The next morning, she woke up to find herself locked in the attic, trapped, just like she had feared. Betrayal and sheer terror consumed her. She had trusted Andrew, and he had thrown her away like all the others. But then, the story flips. Suddenly, we see everything from Nina's perspective, and the truth is more shocking than Millie could ever have imagined. Nina wasn't the villain. She was the victim. For years, she had endured horrific abuse at Andrew's hands. He had drugged her, locked her away, and manipulated everyone around them to believe she was insane. Her erratic behavior, her cruelty, her outbursts, it was all a desperate act of survival, a carefully constructed performance to protect herself and her daughter. Nina's revelations turned the entire story on its head, Every single detail of Millie's employment had been orchestrated by Nina herself. She knew Andrew's patterns. She knew he preyed on vulnerable women. She specifically chose Millie, a woman with a history of violence, because she knew that if pushed to the absolute edge, Millie would fight back. Nina even had a fertility specialist lie to Andrew, making him believe Nina couldn't have more children, ensuring he would be drawn to Millie. Every strange rule, every confusing interaction, every subtle manipulation, it was all part of Nina's master plan to bring Millie to this exact moment. A moment of confrontation. Millie realizes with dawning horror that the charming, handsome man she had trusted was a monster, and the woman she had feared and despised was her only ally. To survive, Millie had to act, and she had to act now. She confronts Andrew, armed with the full, devastating truth of his deception and cruelty. In that attic, the place that was supposed to be her prison, the power dynamic shifts entirely. Millie is no longer a victim. She is a force to be reckoned with, strategic, determined, and absolutely unflinching. The attic, once a symbol of fear, becomes the very stage where justice is served. This story is a masterclass in power, manipulation, and survival. It's a chilling reminder that appearances are almost always deceiving, and that the victims of today can become the architects of justice tomorrow. Millie Calloway's journey from desperation to empowerment shows us that sometimes courage, cunning, and raw resilience are the only weapons you have against a world built on lies. In the end, the lines between hero and villain are completely blurred, leaving us to wonder who really holds the power and who gets to write the story in a house of secrets. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat.